I was starting to make some notes in my actual paper journal today to just clarify what I wanted to talk about. And I happened to open it to the first page, second page of this year. And I thought, well, this is really interesting. This was written January 15th this year. And I don't know if it was what was on my mind or notes that I took from a recording, because I do think this is related to someone I was listening to at the time. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But here's what I wrote. The way to change the world is not through some big external event, but more and more individuals stepping into their power and source. Then I have a big line through it. I'll show you how it looks. See the big line there? And I said, beauty isn't going to get you far, nor will money, fame, power, only connection. All of your money comes from other people. It connects you to them. Honor that and you thrive. Ignore it and you die. That probably came from my friend Lori St. Clair. You can actually look up our conversation, and I can't wait to have another one because talking with her is so much fun. And it's right before I did a little bit of a branding exercise with someone that was meant to be an internal exercise. Anyway, that's not, I'll go into that on a different day. But wow, I can't believe the way to change the world is not through some big external event, but more and more individuals stepping into their power and source. Okay, so actually, the next series of things I wrote are really relevant because I was talking about the things that need to be healed for me, the things that I am working on, the patterns that keep coming up for me, things like sabotage, um, diet going up and down, debt, it's sort of an endless pit and cycle. Um, and I could not have imagined back in January that I would be sitting here talking to a camera, which in a weird way is talking to everyone because of the way I post these, because I put them out publicly. Literally the whole world could watch if they wanted to. I'm hoping they don't. Um, yeah, and I'm trusting that the right people will. And the right people to me are just the ones who benefit or can benefit from the message. The people who've been hiding or have been playing small, keeping it keeping themselves held in for a long, long time. Um, I don't know. These other notes are about, moments of trauma and how I felt hopeless, alone, abandoned, desperate, made to feel wrong, ashamed, afraid, um, overly sexualized too early, couldn't express myself. I had to hide who I am. You're never going to be successful. There were a lot of good exercises in that. In fact, I would like to speak to the person who taught that course, so I'm going to reach out to him and see if that works. I would also love to speak to some other photographers. I think I'm going to reach out even to someone like Alexi Lubomirski, or Alex Lubomirski, because he's a celebrity photographer and because he's not shooting right now and he's really switched um, to more personal photos and more personal messages. And there's a part of me that doesn't know for sure that I'll be a photographer when I come out of this. I mean, I think that I will because I not just always have been, but photography is my language. And I like to call it writing with light, um, or shining light on people. It's a gift I have where I can see an energy inside of a person and then deliver something to them that shares their own light with them, or maybe shares their light with their would-be followers. The uh, people feel it's funny. It's similar to what celebrity photography is, or not fashion, celebrity photography, because we want to know people. We want to get inside a little bit. We want to think we know them. We want to connect. And that's the part of photography I really love. There's another photographer, Jennifer Thoreson, who is she's doing a beautiful challenge right now, which is, art in the age of COVID. And she's inviting people to photograph um, where they are, what they're doing. She gives a topic, and then people post their images, and then she critiques them in a really beautiful, thoughtful, generous way. I'm actually reluctant to post another picture because my first one was practically a snap off my phone, and she wrote like this much text about her thoughts on it, and I thought, well, either I have to put more energy into my photo or not post, because I didn't want to abuse her generous gift of time like that. But Jennifer, I don't know if you watch these, I would love to speak with you about um, photography and your art and how you see it going forward. There are a lot of photographers I would like to speak to. I'd love to speak to Peter Turnley about what he's doing right now in New York City and photographing the people there, ground level, ground zero, ground level. He has some really, really beautiful work that he's doing right now. I know some photographers are super frustrated because they can't do what they do. They can't go out, or they've had jobs cancel. And I really had to pull back from a lot of photography groups that I'm in, because there are some super frustrated photographers out there. I am just weirdly not frustrated. I'm frustrated that I can't do more in a day, and that's just me giving respect to myself for my energy right now. I have to keep reminding myself this is temporary, but oh my gosh, yesterday was a throwaway day. I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. I walked the dogs. Does that count? I mean, they're asleep on the floor next to me right now. Yeah, I'm going to reach out to a bunch of photographers, because we all focus on such different things, and we are all metaphors for what's happening right now, because we all have our lenses, we all have our point of view, we all have our perspective, we all have our vision of what we want things to be, and our way of showing up for people, with people. If you know me at all, you know that connection's my thing, energy's my thing. So right now, I'm doing what I do, but I'm doing it without a camera, or I'm doing it with this silly camera on my computer, reaching out to the same people I have photographed or would photograph, or love to photograph, love to work with. And sometimes I shoot for someone's business. Sometimes it's for a family. And it doesn't matter to me. For me, it's for connection. It's for you. Oh, I have to speak to Jen Hawkins. You better call me. Actually, I'm calling you. Because, for example, well, I'll tell this story when we speak, but when Jen's family dog died, I had many years worth of family photos of them, including the dog, obviously. And we would shoot every summer. almost always in August for a weekend. They would usually be in Nantucket or on the Cape or something just outside of Boston. And when the dog died, I was able to deliver those photos to her, and the children, her 4 children, went through these pictures and made a book of the dog that was something like 200 or 300 pages long. Um, and it was, excuse me, it was a sort of healing for them, for everyone. I mean, that's what I'm going to do when my dogs go. Well, I won't, because I'm the shoemaker's kids, and I kind of suck at this. You know, my personal photos, my family photos are in great disarray. And by the way, you are way better off being my client than being my friend. Except that all of my clients become my friends. But if you're my friend first, you know that you probably had to ask me 10 times to get that little snap that I took on that weekend. Sorry, Karen, I know it's been like 20 years since you saw those pictures from that place you went outside of London. I know I have them somewhere. Yeah, it's funny. Photography is so funny. It's a funny time to be a photographer. Um, let's see where we are. We're up to 11 minutes. So I also wanted to add that I did that remote photo shoot, I don't know, a week ago or so. And the shoot went well. It was super fun in the moment. And my friend who I photographed had a reaction that I guess I would say is typical of many women I photograph. And this is a conversation for another day, but it's about, you know, self-image, or how we see ourselves and how we choose to be seen or don't want to be seen, or, you know, have been hiding for a while because, you know, we just don't want to know. We don't want to think about it, how much weight we've gained, um, how our hair looks different, how our skin looks different. Trust me, I know and get all of this. You know, I have lived the yo-yo. I have lived the roller coaster. I have lived the, you know, beautiful once, gained a lot of weight, went through a horrible time, felt shitty about myself. It's it's all part of it. It's all part of it, and thank God for my friends who have really helped me understand acceptance at a different level, and also acceptance when you don't like what you see. But if you don't accept it first and love it first and love who you are first, you can't change the external stuff. So for me, that's the equivalent of saying um, that it's really hard for me to photograph a person who doesn't like who they are. I can do it. You know, I can do anything. I can photograph anyone, but there's an inside part of the job that has to be done first. And it's funny, a photograph can help you with the inside job. It might be a 2-step process. So it might be a process of, let's do a shoot. Here are your photos. Let's look at them. If you don't like them, that's one invitation. And if you do like them, it's a different invitation. But they're both invitations to move forward. One of them might help you grow a business and like go, well, both of them are going to help you in a different way. You know, this is a much longer conversation. I'm sorry. But both of them are going to help you, because one of them is going to inspire you to change what you are seeing and not liking. or what you are seeing and saying, oh, that's not how I feel. I feel good inside. My outside hasn't caught up yet. That's a little bit what's happening in the world right now, I think. A lot of us are feeling okay, but we didn't like what was going on in the outside world. And guess what? This isn't, this whole virus moment isn't pretty, but it's changing a lot of things. And that's a good thing. So that's the invitation to change. The other is the invitation to go for it. Go for it. Here's a beautiful picture. You look like the CEO. You look like the boss in charge. Do it. Own it. You always were that. I'm I'm glad we had a photo shoot together and made you look like the person that is inside. Um, that's just that's just one of the million ways that I use photography. Okay, 100 ways, whatever. You know what I mean. Um, so I would love to speak to a handful of photographers who I love, just to hear what they're feeling and uh, how things are shifting for them. Stay tuned. We'll figure that out.